Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Cody here with another video of Alabama. Um, I've been pretty busy the last several days with work and everything. I just wanted to kind of touch up on the 2020 recruiting class. Overall, it was a great class. Uh, did it finish with either Enos Rackstraw or McKinley Jackson like I projected them to go? Uh, and several other people projected the same thing. Um, but still, overall, a very, very good class. Number two, um, overall. Um, I do think it was a phenomenal class, considering the fact that we touched on several very important keys. Uh, Linebacker, very important. Wide receiver was pretty important. We got some very good guys. Uh, quarterback, we got the best quarterback in the class. I don't even think that's even a question. Bryce Young, elite from pocket awareness to accuracy. I mean, he's even a good deep ball. He's even a good deep ball thrower. He has a good arm. Uh, I think the best attribute, is the fact that he has very good pocket awareness. He knows where people are around him at almost at all times. Um, so I think obviously, he's the alpha of this class. The other ones are, Will Anderson, Drew Sanders, Demore Kennedy, Jace McClellan, guys like that. Uh, Besides for the obvious names of those types of guys, I think um, people that can sit back and develop, given a year or two of time, would be guys like Damian George, uh, Cohen, the offensive tackles. Uh, I think those guys, given a couple of years, can grow into something. Um, Brian Branch, I think, is another great get. Uh, he's the guy that can go. He can play safety. He can be, your star in certain packages. He could even, play wide receiver if, you know, something were to happen. He's touched base on stuff like, he's open to playing both sides of the football. I wouldn't be surprised. I think he plays special teams very, very soon, very quickly. Um, Guys that I think are going to contribute immediately. Um, Obviously, the linebackers, but other than the obvious like that, I think Kim Smith's going to contribute relatively quite a bit in his freshman year. So much so, I don't think he'll be able to redshirt, even if you would want him to. He's not going to. Somebody else that I think is going to really push for playing time, honestly, would be Tyus Jones Bell. Besides for the three guys in John Mechie, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Waddle, I think Tyus Jones Bell, or maybe even a Javon Baker, or Holden, I think they can kind of maybe push their way into a little bit of playing time. And then going into spring and going into A-Day, I think the real big question mark is who's going to be the starting pass rushers? Who's going to be the outside linebackers? A lot of people are going to obviously point to Christopher Allen, Kevin Harris, maybe even King Muate or whatnot. A lot of people are going to look to those guys as guys that are just going to, start. But the problem is none of those guys have, up to this point, have wowed anybody. Now of course Kevin Harris and King, they were freshmen last year, so you can't really say, oh, well, they've had a lot of time. Christopher Allen is, a redshirt junior now. He has plenty of time in the program, plenty of time, in this defense, plenty of time in the strength and conditioning program. there should be no issue with Christopher Allen coming in and being that day one starter immediately. Really, no question should even be asked. He was a highly ranked recruit. Uh, there's really no excuses there for him. But again, guys like Will Anderson, Drew Sanders, uh, they got that dog. They got that mentality of I'm gonna get in there and I'm gonna put my head down. I'm just gonna go to work and do whatever is asking me, so I can see the field. Something that Drew Sanders I think has above everybody, on at least at the linebacker position, is he has a very, very, very high football IQ. His dad was a head coach and stuff like that, so he understands the game. I think a little bit better than the other linebackers at this point in time. Uh, you couple that with the fact that he is a freakish athlete. He's a five-star linebacker or a five-star tight end. Now, obviously for us, he's a five-star linebacker. Um, but I think that really plays a role in how we're going to operate and how we are going to do things. Um, I think those guys are going to really get plenty of playing time. Um, So I think Christopher Allen and Kevin Harris and everybody else that was on in the program last year or the year before that, they need to come in and they need to have that mentality of I'm gonna work and I'm gonna do what is asked of me right now, right away, and I'm gonna show that I belong as a day one starter, or else they're gonna get passed up on the roster. We are have extreme depth now at the linebacker position. Shane Lee, I would not be surprised if he's passed up very quickly. Guys like Demore Kennedy, Christian Harris, they're going to pass him up with relative ease, I think. Um, and then another thing that's going to be interesting to watch, at least to me, is going to be who are all the five starting offensive linemen. Obviously, we got Leatherwood, Deontay Brown, uh, Dickerson, and obviously Evan Neal. They're all coming back, you know. So we have four of the five starters all coming back. Now, how do we play them? Do we play them the same way as last year with Leatherwood at right tackle, Evan Neal at left guard, Dickerson at center, Deontay Brown at right guard, and then have a battle solely at right tackle? Or do we kind of mix it up, move Dickerson maybe to the left or right guard, maybe Evan Neal to the right tackle position, and maybe put a guy like Gary Galcourt at center? That's going to be questions that I think they're going to practice and kind of mess around with all through spring leading up to A game and probably the last couple of weeks leading into week one versus USC. Me personally, I would like to just keep it the same way and just have a battle at right tackle, whether that would be, Pierce Quick, Evan, Kite. Uh, I think, maybe even kick Evan Neal to right tackle and maybe put a guy like Pierce Quick in at left guard. Pierce Quick, if you watch games like South Carolina, and although, he got ample amount of playing time, if you watch his game film during the season, he never really ever got pushed back. And he was going up against starters. He never really got pushed back. He was always doing the pushing, or he got stuffed, and he just didn't go nowhere. So it wasn't a lose-lose situation on either end, or it wasn't really much of a win-win either situation either. So you really look at it and go, he came in at 275, 280, and he was able to do this against veteran defensive linemen as a freshman, and everything with very little playing time. I think you give him all of spring, A day, and then all of, camp leading up into week one. I think, him coming in at 285 or anywhere between 285 to 295, maybe even 300, I think he's going to be a stiff left guard and everything. So I think you got to keep it kind of somewhat like that, maybe even. But I wouldn't mind keeping the four from left tackle to right guard the same as last year, just for the, the comfort, the familiarity that all four of them have within each other from playing right next to each other. I think that really also bodes very well, and something that you had to keep in the back of your head that Leatherwood knows and feels comfortable and understands what Evan Neal's going to do, and vice versa with Evan Neal to Dickerson and Dickerson to Brown. they know what they're going to do. They kind of feel they know they feel comfortable with each other, right next to each other. And as an offensive lineman, that's very important. That's very key in knowing what the guy next to you is going to do. Um, so I think they always have to keep that in the back of their mind. Um, of course, week 1 and week 2, we're not really facing anybody that's of a big threat. Week 3, however, is going to be the big threat versus Georgia. Yeah, I think we're going to beat them. I think we'll probably beat them by multiple scores. But at the end of the day, though, Georgia, from a talent-based wise perspective, is on the very same level as we are here at Tuscaloosa, Alabama. They are just as, hyped, they're just as strong, they're just as fast, they're just as agile as Alabama is. So we have to figure it out. I really want everything um, in form and everything already set in stone, at least up to about 3 weeks before week 1. If we can do that, that will give us 3 weeks, week 1 and week 2, so 5 weeks. It will give us 6 weeks to prepare, essentially, not really looking ahead, but just per se, 6 weeks of comfort, familiarity, working and playing next to each other on the offensive line, on the defensive line, and linebackers, and everything else. That way we can go into week 3 a little bit more comfortable than what we were going into week 3 last year, week 4 last year, week 5 last year. Well, the first 4 games of the season, we didn't know really how our offensive line was fully going to shape out to be. So I think that was a very important thing. We had to keep it very key in familiarity, and I think that's going to really bode well when we face really good defenses that have a really good defensive front, like an LSU, like a Georgia. At the end of the day, if you don't feel as comfortable with your left guard as your left guard feels with your left tackle, or vice versa, anywhere on the offensive line, there's going to be a little bit of a hiccup there. And it's not just going to be a hiccup that you can just fix in 1 or 2 drives or 5 days or a week of practice. You have to get it done over a certain length of time. And with that really being said, those are my key points. I also think Trey Sanders is going to win the second string running back position job. I think he's just too talented. B-Wall, no disrespect to him, but B-Wall just isn't that guy. He's not as good, or he won't be ever as good as Trey Sanders or Najee Harris. So that's my outlook on the 2019 class. Overall, phenomenal, great class, which really bodes to say something considering the fact that Pete Golding finished 142nd out of everybody in recruiting. Now, when was the last time a key coordinator or position coach, per se, was 142nd in anything under Nick Saban? There's never been one in everything. And Pete Golding was 142nd. Not only that, but he wasn't a very good play caller. There wasn't really much difference between week 1 to week 6, from week 6 to week 13 to the bowl game. There really wasn't much difference. But the recruiting aspect of it is what really, I think, should be a really bad red flag. The plus side with Tosh McCoy was, yeah, he wasn't a really good play caller. Of course, he never called plays ever before. Pete Golding has. But at least Tosh McCoy was an elite ace recruiter. Pete Golding is elite at nothing. He's very good at nothing. And so I think you have to look at it and go, what are we going to do here? Because I think that's a big red flag. You have to figure this out, I think, in the next week, 2 weeks at the very max. You have to consider maybe going in a different direction because, he missed out on his really only one main recruiting aspect of it, and that was McKinley Jackson. And last year he missed out on the Kobe Dean. You know, some people say that, oh well, he helped, hold on to guys like Byron Young and you know guys like that. Well, Byron Young was already committed before he was the defensive coordinator, and Byron Young, from hearing what I've heard and everything else, Byron Young isn't the type of kid that's gonna commit to a coach. He's gonna commit to a program, and that's what he did. He committed to a program and such. So I think he didn't really have anything to do with the 2019 class, and he certainly had nothing to do with the 2020 class. So I think that's going to be something that needs to be addressed, and needs to be addressed very quickly. Because if not, it can get very ugly in recruiting. Um, because Georgia ain't slowing down. Clemson, for all intents and purposes, is picking up steam in recruiting. We need to stay right there and get the guys that we need to get. And having a guy like Pete Golden who misses on guys that he's been supposedly recruiting for over a year and a half ain't good. Ain't a good sign. Is not a good look whatsoever. Um, Maybe, fire him and bring in, give Kelly our safety coach, give Kelly the defensive coordinator. He's been defensive coordinator, and he's pretty well, but I guarantee you he recruits much better than Golden does. So that could be a win-win, but then who's going to keep? There's a lot of questions, and I'll put that in another video later on in the next day or two. But up until then, Roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button all day, every day. Roll Tide.